For many years, we believed that the age of exploration was over, that there were no undiscovered lands left on Earth, especially with the massive advancement in technology, satellites, aircraft, and digital maps that made our planet seem like an open book. But at the very bottom of this planet, there is a continent we rarely hear about. A land covered by enormous layers of ice, an environment so extreme that human life there is almost impossible. And yet, the most powerful nations in the world signed a special treaty about this continent, an agreement that bans military activity there and strictly limits who can enter it, claiming that it exists only for scientific research. But the question many people ask is it really just an empty frozen continent? Or are there things the world's governments do not want humanity to know? Are the stories true about ancient civilizations and perhaps entire cities buried beneath the ice? What about the diary of Richard E. Byrd, in which he is said to have described a mysterious city known as Agartha? What was the Nazi expedition really doing there decades ago? And what about the pyramid-like structure captured by satellite images? This is the story of the most mysterious continent on Earth, Antarctica. In 1959, a group of major nations signed the Antarctic Treaty. Its purpose was clear: to make the southern continent a place reserved entirely for scientific research, away from military conflicts and resource exploitation. Countries that had once been rivals, like the United States, the former Soviet Union, and Britain, along with several European nations and others, agreed to protect this land under international cooperation. However, over the years, some critics and alternative researchers have questioned whether the treaty truly guarantees full transparency. They argue that strict access regulations and military-level logistics required to reach the continent make independent exploration nearly impossible. According to these theories, powerful nations may be concealing discoveries beneath the ice, discoveries considered too disruptive, too dangerous, or too valuable to reveal to the public. While no verified evidence confirms these claims, the secrecy surrounding certain restricted zones has fueled decades of speculation. From that moment, Antarctica became a unique natural laboratory where scientists could conduct experiments and explore the secrets of the ice, the climate, and the Earth itself. Modern scientific discoveries have revealed that beneath the massive ice layers of Antarctica, there exist entire mountain ranges, slow-moving glaciers, and hidden lakes such as Lake Vostok, which has remained isolated for millions of years. Geological studies show that Antarctica was not always a frozen wasteland. Millions of years ago, it hosted forests, rivers, and green mountains, and had a climate capable of supporting life. Fossilized plants and other evidence suggest that parts of the continent once thrived with living ecosystems. On a biological level, scientists have discovered microbes living beneath the ice, some of which have survived in isolated environments for millions of years. This makes Antarctica a living library of our planet's history and a rare window into the origins of life and its ability to adapt to extreme conditions. Yet this discovery also raises an unsettling possibility. Microorganisms that have been isolated for millions of years evolved separately from modern ecosystems. If certain ancient microbes were ever released, intentionally or accidentally, humanity might have little to no natural immunity against them. Some researchers warn that studying subglacial lakes must be done with extreme caution, not only to protect the pristine environment, but also to avoid exposing the world to unknown biological risks. Before the outbreak of World War II, Nazi Germany sent an expedition to a region in East Antarctica, later known as Neuschwabenland. Official records state that the mission focused on aerial surveys, mapping, and exploring potential whaling resources. But after the war ended, other stories began to surface. Stories about secret bases beneath the ice, about hidden projects, and even claims that some officials may have escaped there. There are claims that beneath the ice, something else was found, a hidden expanse stretching far below the frozen surface. Within it, open spaces, geothermal warmth rising from the Earth's core, and caverns large enough to conceal entire structures, entire facilities, perhaps more. And according to these accounts, they were not alone. Instead, they speak of a civilization, ancient yet technologically advanced, a society said to exist in what some esoteric traditions once called Agartha, a hidden world beneath the surface of the Earth. In fact, legends long predating the war speak of inner continents, subterranean cities, and knowledge preserved away from the surface world. So according to these narratives, the Antarctic expedition did not stumble upon randomness. Rather, they found an entrance. From there, it is said that contact happened in silence, and soon after, agreements followed, exchanges were made, technology in return for secrecy, knowledge passed quietly. As a result, some believe this explains the sudden appearance of unconventional designs in the final years of the war, craft and concepts that seemed ahead of their time. And if such contact ever occurred, then perhaps Antarctica was never just ice. Most historians, however, find no solid evidence to support these claims, yet the mystery surrounding that expedition kept the questions alive. Years later, in 1946, American Admiral Richard E. Byrd led a massive operation known as Operation High Jump. The official objective was to train personnel in polar conditions and test military equipment in an extreme environment. Still, the scale of the mission raised curiosity. Thousands of men, multiple ships, aircraft operating over the frozen continent. But Operation High Jump ended earlier than expected, officially after just a few months. Public reports cited harsh weather conditions and logistical difficulties. However, rumors quickly emerged, claiming that parts of the fleet had encountered unexpected resistance. Some conspiracy narratives suggest unidentified aerial phenomena or hostile forces operating in the region. According to these unverified accounts, several aircraft were lost, equipment was damaged, and casualties were reported before the mission was abruptly concluded. Official historical records attribute the losses primarily to accidents and extreme weather, yet the shortened duration of the operation continues to spark debate among researchers and theorists alike. And then, one of the most controversial narratives appeared, the so-called Secret Diary of Admiral Byrd, a document whose authenticity has never been officially verified. It claims that Byrd described flying over a warmer region deep within the continent and witnessing unusual landscapes beneath the ice. However, no recognized military archive confirms these writings. Despite that, the story continued to spread, eventually becoming linked to what is known as the Hollow Earth theory, an old idea suggesting that vast internal worlds may exist beneath the surface of our planet. To this day, there is no scientific evidence supporting these claims. In recent years, satellite imagery has also fueled new speculation. Certain mountain formations have been interpreted by some as pyramid-like structures rising from the ice. While geologists explain these shapes as natural nunataks, peaks exposed by wind erosion and glacial movement, alternative theorists propose more dramatic possibilities. Some link the so-called Antarctic pyramid to a lost advanced civilization. Others suggest a connection to the legend of Atlantis, the mythical city described by Plato as a powerful ancient society that vanished beneath the sea. Antarctica is often called the last great frontier on Earth, a frozen continent that still hides more questions than answers, from secret expeditions to strange discoveries beneath the ice. The story of this place is far from finished, and what we know today may only be a small part of the real story. But what do you think? Do you believe Antarctica is simply a frozen wilderness? Or could there be something hidden beneath the ice that we still don't understand? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring mysteries like this one, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story.